Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a game between RoseLegacy and oGsNada here on Backwater Gulch. RoseLegacy spawning as the red Protoss player here. Meanwhile, we have oGsNada spawning as the blue Terran player. So this is Terran versus Protoss, and this was taken from, I believe, the Taiwan servers by the looks of the kanji. So yes, I believe it is the Taiwan servers, and we'll see what happens here. This is Backwater Gulch, a map that isn't played very often in any high-level tournaments because, well, frankly, not all of the BattleNet maps are tournament quality. So I like casting high-level games on maps like this, where a lot of the players are much more familiar with, or a lot of the viewers are much more familiar with, and a lot of the players, the high-level players, are not familiar with. We'll see what happens this time around. Once again, this is one of my, I guess I'll call it my Novocaine drugged casts. So the left side of my face is very, very numb. And if I slur my speech more than normal, I apologize. Yeah. Anyways, back over here, we now see Nada building up that barracks. So the barracks is pretty much coming into play on schedule. I believe that was a 12 racks supply depot being built on the backside here. Meanwhile, Legacy currently getting up a gateway, and it will be just building or just mining away with those probes. We should be seeing an assimilator right now, followed by a pylon soon. And as soon as that pylon is in play, we should be getting a cybernetics core once we have enough minerals and after the gateway has been completed. The probe will be able to walk up that ramp in just a moment. No seal on the front door though, so Nada not sealing the front door, and that probe will be able to sneak by, get in, and see everything it wants to see. Taking a look, it sees that there is a refinery currently coming in, knows that this isn't some crazy play at all for a lot of minerals, as a marine now being trained, bunker also being placed down as well. Backwater Gulch, one of the interesting things is the number of expansions and the number of destructible rocks. I've seen a lot of void rays used on this map in terms of BattleNet play, as you're able to charge off of either this set of rocks or this set of rocks here to put pressure into your opponent's base. A fully charged void ray dealing significantly more damage. We are adding a tech lab as well, so this may be a standard Reaper expansion coming in from Nada. So yeah, we should be getting a tech lab down, perhaps a Reaper, or just Marauders and Stim Pack, as we are only running off of one gas. It is going to be Concussive Cell and Marauders, and we'll see what Nada is trying to do in the long-term game. SCV going to be able to sneak by that Zealot there, as we are now getting a chrono boost off of that cybernetics core. It looks like a stalker will be added in, as the SCV just wandering around still. A command center should be added in just a moment by Nada, as that looks like what Nada is trying to do. Marine also doing some scouting as well, making sure that there are no proxy pylons. Won't see one. An expansion attempt already here at the 4.5-minute mark by Nada. So Nada, the first one to try to expand and try to get a strong economic lead. A stalker now looking across the map, perhaps trying to find if there is any SCVs over here, making sure that there's no proxy racks here or any proxy buildings of any sort, as they would be able to clear down these rocks and then charge up the ramp rather easily. There are, going to be 2 Marauders and 1 Marine. Very, very nice natural defense there, as we are now adding some additional Raxes, 2 Raxes, after an expansion attempt. So this most likely you'll see is a training of Stim Pack here, training of Marauders here, and then double training Marines off of these 2 Raxes that do not have any add-ons for a little bit of time. That seems to be a very common strategy this day, or during this port of the meta. We are getting a proxy pylon by RoseLegacy in addition to a Nexus here, so it doesn't look like the Protoss player will be falling too far behind, as we are also going into an engineering bay. So engineering bay, level 1 weapons upgrade, perhaps a timing push as well, in addition to being able to place down missile turrets for detection. Both players really in the dark of what the other player is trying to do at this time. Additional gateways now being warped in, so Legacy going to putting in a lot of pressure with those gateways. Gateway units without any medevacs. This may be rather difficult for Nada to hold off, but those bunkers will definitely help, as SCVs are obviously able to repair there. 2 additional gateways will be finished warping in just a moment. Stim Pack now coming in. Poor probe has been destroyed as well, as SCVs are continuing to mine more and more efficiently. Engineering base still just sitting here, no weapons upgrade yet. So that is a bit of a surprise, as we are getting a lot of Marines and no Marauders. I'm not quite sure why we're not getting Marauders at this time, as the Tech Lab would allow for it. And he already does have that concussive shell. Perhaps the Marines have a higher DPS. Has higher DPS against a wider variety range of units, but they are much more fragile. Especially against any Colossus, but it doesn't look like Legacy will be going any Colossi anytime soon. We'll also see if Guardian Shield comes into play, as Guardian Shield does deal a lot of, or reduces a lot of damage from a Marine, from 6 down to 4 on the shields, and from 5 down to 3 on the armor of all gateway units. Both players just sitting in the center portion of the map now. We can see another bunker being placed down. So Nada being very, very defensive, as he is now sitting on 34 SCVs compared to 37 probes. We are finally getting that level 1 weapons upgrade, as more and more Marines and Marauders are still being trained. Not quite sure what Nada's long-term goal is. I don't see a factory, as we are now going into a Twilight Council. Without a factory, that obviously means no starports, and no starports mean no medevacs at all. This is going to be a very difficult proposition to try to push out with just mass Marine Marauders as this game gets later and later on. We do have that Twilight Council now coming into play. We are researching the Zealot, the Zealot charge, or the Zealot legs, and we don't have the Templar archives yet. No Templar archives obviously means that he will have no way to really deal with this mass infantry. You either need Psystorm, or you need Colossi to deal with mass infantry. Otherwise, that ball of units are just able to deal so much damage just because all of the units are ranged with decent DPS. Army, taking a look at the composition, 1875 versus 1350. This is just pretty much a mass Marine army, as we are now adding on a reactor and a tech lab there. We are finally going into multiple Raxes, so a 6 Rax play, adding that reactor and adding that starport. So we may be getting a bit of a push now. We have a lot of Marines and the Marauders. The Marines and Marauders are, like I said, just still sitting at 1-0 upgrades. Combat Shield just completing. And now the key question will be, concussive shells have already been completed. Who will be able to put more pressure in? The Zealots and the Stalkers also have this back entrance that they could try to utilize to their advantage. This high ground over here, they can also try to come down both alleyways at the same time, which would be rather difficult to stop. But the Zealots would be slowed. There are, enough Marauders to try to slow down some of the early charging Zealots. And now here we go. Legacy now pushing out with a large group of units. We are going to get some sentries into play. More Zealots adding into the group, as well as another proxy pylon now warping in. And what will be happening? The one Zealot now trying to push in over here. A lot of damage being dealt towards that leading Zealot. And now so much damage has been had so far. And now the Marines and Marauders are both sides battling out. There's the force fields, as those back units are unable to engage. No Guardian Shield, though. A bit of a surprise by that. No Guardian Shield means that those Marines and Marauders are still dealing full damage, as more force fields are still coming in as well. So the Stalkers are continuing to push very, very easily inside this location here. SCVs are now trying to repair. Will they be able to? It looks like they are going to be not be able to, and now Stalkers just completely rolling over this position here. Marauders and the Marines are trying to back off, trying to finish out the rest of the Stalkers here. The Stalkers are now backing off, as the Marauders and the Marines are able to come in and get a lot of damage, as there is no reinforcements. The Stalkers are now continuing to charge the Zealots, getting as much damage as possible onto those units, as Nada taking a beating. The Marauders and the Marines just were not ready to handle another wave of reinforcements. Medevac now down, and Nada is in a bit of trouble. We do see a factory just flying around over here, as the Orbital Command will get shot down. It is already on fire. The Stalkers may be able to finish it off. Yes, down it goes. Zealots are now trying to engage as they charge up the ramps as well. Stalkers are coming in from behind. We are going to get a proxy pylon warping in some additional units. Stalkers still have that sight up onto the high ground currently, as they continue to push their way through. So Legacy continuing the charge at this stage, not relenting in his attack at all, trying to put the final nail in the coffin. Will he be able to, as more units are continuing to reinforce here? But it looks like Legacy has overstretched his advantage, and another wave of Zealots are now coming in. So these Zealots need to come in and get a lot of damage. The Marauders and the Marines are upgraded 1-0, as the Stalker Blink about to be completed. It looks like the Zealots will get taken down, and Nada with a slightly larger army at this stage and not much more. 43 probes compared to 27 SCV. Stalkers once again warping in at just the wrong time. Legacy reinforcing when he should really be trying to regroup his army, and is really paying dearly for that. Down go the rest of these zealots here. You can see a couple marauders are getting taken down. Down it goes. But taking a look at the losses now, 85-75 versus 78-75. The Terran player actually losing less, but it doesn't matter as the income difference is so large. Nada now coming in, picking up those medevac units there, and now Legacy looking to just continue to put more and more of that pressure. Legacy still running off of 2 bases. He is now getting 2 additional gateways as well, so he will be running off of 8 gate in just a moment, double training more medevacs as well. Nada is very far behind, his economy rather weak, running off of 7 mineral patches, and all Legacy has to do now is sit back, relax, and just let his macro carry him through the rest of this game. This set of destructible rocks could get taken down very easily, allowing for a nice, easy, smooth transfer of units. Zealots and Stalkers against Marauders and Marines. Both sides don't want to engage, as the Zealots still sitting off in this position here. And we also see a couple sentries. No observers onto the high ground. And now, are we going to get a force field? Force field trapping all of those units, so all of those units really with nowhere to run. Stalkers continuing to put more pressure. Zealots unable to get up onto that high ground as more Stalkers are continuing to push, and now the Stalkers can't really see what's going on up there either. Stalkers finally blinking up in order to gain some sight. Sentries pushing in, but I believe the Stalkers were hoping to get a little bit more damage, and unable to do so. Those Zealots were caught behind each other and not able to deal that much damage at all. It looks like another medevac will get shot down there. More medevacs may get destroyed as the Zealots continuing to charge after those Marauders. It looks like those 2 Marauders will get taken down, and now more Zealots continuing to just warp in and try to reinforce, just non-stop battling here. But Legacy really could be utilizing his advantage in a better way. Nada has been, in terms of exchanging armies, doing a better job at this point, as you can take a look at the losses. 10,350 versus 1,300 so far. Production, level 2 weapons upgrade, level 2 armor upgrades against more Zealots now coming in. We are training up 3 probes and trying to get a stronger economy going once again. Perhaps some chrono boost would definitely help as well, as Legacy, all he really needs to do is just place down a pylon here for when his opponents try to establish an expansion and delay it even further. Stalkers are currently sitting on 0-0 upgrades compared to what will soon be 2-2 upgrades. Those Marauders really benefiting in that upgrade exchange. The Marauders dealing 24 damage in attack, while the Stalkers deal Stalkers deal 11. That is a significant drop off, as the Marines are also dealing 8 compared to the Stalkers Stalkers 8. So yeah, Marine dealing the same amount of damage per attack, and also attacking much more quickly, as the Marauders and the Marines may try to engage over here. The Zealots are now charging in as well, able to get a lot of damage. In come the Stalkers. Stalkers are able to blink in, making it even more difficult, and the Marauders are going to have a very difficult time. Zealots are once again just continuing their push out. It looks like the Marines are not going to be able to do very much, and Nada says GG. So RoseLegacy taking this game here on Backwater Gulch. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.